So, welcome back to Simple Human Design. I'm Charlie, and today I want to talk to you all about how you can use human design in your relationships. So, this is any kind of relationship at all, whether it's like a partner, a business partner, a friendship, boss at work, it doesn't matter, but I can help you to use human design to help you understand other people a little bit better and to help you a little bit with your relationship as well. So, let's talk about the three things that we want to be aware of when we are, talking to people in partnership with them, and really just sort of see like how different are they basically. So the first thing that you want to look at when you're kind of like maybe a little bit intrigued about somebody in particular, or if you've been with someone for so long, you kind of want to see like, oh, what's their human design and why are they different to me, and what are the similarities to me as well. These are all the questions that you usually ask yourself. And the very first thing that you want to have a look at is actually simply the sacral center, right? So there are two human design types that have the sacral center defined. So that's manifesting generators and generators. And these two types are essentially like you guys have life force energy, consistent life force energy. And then there's the non-sacral types, and they are projectors, manifestors, and reflectors. And these are the people that don't necessarily have that consistent life force energy all of the time. However, sometimes we feel like we do, and we feel like we have that kind of ability to go, go, go all the time because we are being conditioned by the world's sacral energy. So sometimes it's actually quite difficult, like even for me as a projector, sometimes it's difficult for me to know whether someone has their sacral center defined or not, because if they are coming across as incredibly energetic and, they're really sort of like, doing a lot and they don't seem to be necessarily that tired and all this sort of stuff. It's kind of like, well, okay, they might be sacral people, but actually, yeah, could they simply just be projectors, manifestors, or reflectors potentially as well. So that's the first thing that you want to look at. You want to see whether someone has, compared to you, their sacral center defined or undefined. And that is going to give you a lot of information to start with. Okay. So if you have a defined sacral center and your partner, let's say, is undefined, then for you, that's just really good awareness for you to understand that you are giving that person, you are basically giving them energy all of the time. And it's actually really good for you to help them to discern whether they are hanging on to that energy, whether they are kind of almost like addicted to that energy, and whether they need to maybe step away from you for a moment. And you yourself, you may have a really good understanding of when enough is enough. And therefore, it's up to you to help your partner to know, to discern when enough is as well. So let's say you are a manifesting generator and you have a projector partner or friend. And let's say you've been out all day and you spent 6 hours together and you've done shopping and lunch and all this sort of stuff. And you are going to be the one that will probably say, okay, yeah, let's chill out now. Let's, go away from each other potentially. Let's call it a day here, shall we? Because what will happen to the projector or the non-energy being that is with you is they may very well be hanging on to that energy, and because they're starting to feel tired and a little bit drained, they'll try and like hype themselves up again, and they'll try and like just hang on to that energy, that one last thing, because at the end of the day, we as non-energy beings are conditioned to think that we can go, go, go all day long. So, on a Saturday and we've done lunch and shopping, and then we're going to go out in the evening, or like we're going to do something else, etc. That is actually just a conditioned way that we have been, yeah, like asked to live our lives. And it's not a problem to have rest time. It's not a problem to say no, and it's not a problem to, yeah, just chill. So make sure, as a sacral being, make sure that you are giving your non-sacral partner plenty of rest time. And yeah, just don't forget that you yourself are giving them energy as well. So that's the first thing that I wanted to draw your attention to. Now, the next thing is kind of, very, very similar, kind of like expands out from that sacral center. I feel, as a projector, that sacral center is really important because that is essentially where, as any type in the human design system, we are going to be able to reclaim our energy. So we kind of start with that quite often. But the second thing that you want to do as well is you want to have a look at the difference in between your defined centers and your partner's defined centers, and then also your undefined centers and their undefined centers as well. So just remember that an undefined center in the human design body graph is all to do with somebody taking in that energy but then amplifying it as well. So if we look at the head center, for example, if you have an undefined head center and you're hanging around with someone who has a defined head center, then you are going to pick up and amplify and really, really process at a, potentially, really deep level their thoughts and feelings and anxieties as well. So if they're anxious, you will pick that up and you will amplify it. Okay, so take a look at all the different energy centers, which ones you've got defined, which ones you haven't. Take a look at what you are picking up from people and amplifying. Take a look at what they are picking up and amplifying. And that can really help you to start to understand people. The one center here that is going to be really, really sort of like light bulb moment is actually the solar plexus as well. So if you have a defined solar plexus, but your partner doesn't, you will suddenly then realize, okay, that's what's happening. They are being overly emotional because what's happening is they are picking up your emotions and amplifying them, right? By themselves, they will be completely neutral, right? And they will be really happy with their emotions and there won't be any problems. But around other people, they are empaths and they will, pick them up and amplify. Or they might be doing the opposite, which is actually becoming a bit of a robot instead. So a bit like emotionally unavailable. And that's also a little sign in a partnership that you can really sort of like hone into and start to understand. Now, the very last thing that you can actually look at with like a partnership, or, it can be anything, literally like a business partnership, it can be friendship, doesn't matter, actually is something called the electromagnetic channels. Okay, so this is where, let's say you have one gate that's coming out of one of your centers, and there's a line that's going out of that center, and opposite it is another center, and your friend or partner, etc., etc., has that gate that's coming into it. And together you are making a channel. So you're making definition. And that is a really, really potent part of why business partnerships, why marriages, why any kind of partnerships or friendships can work really well, because you basically like come together to create and bridge that energy. And that is something that is kind of, I guess, like needed in the world. So that's called the electromagnetic channel. And you can literally just, the human design software can tell you about those. Well, certainly mine can, my advanced mechanics can. But you can actually just sit there on your chart and just, flip between you and your partner's chart and just like have a look and see, yeah, do you have any electromagnetics? And that can really help you, to sort of like understand this energy here. This is where we thrive. This is where we really excel in life. So those are the three things that you can go and have a look at. Now, if you're a little bit lost with some of these, or you're just not quite like understanding, well, what about the head center and what about the heart center and what about the electromagnetics? then let me know, because I'm more than happy to do a compatibility or partnership reading for you. These are very, very similar to a one-to-one 60-minute reading, but I just do it with the two charts and how you guys are kind of like designed to work together. So please let me know if you want to go ahead and do that. I do them by request only, so you won't find a link anywhere for them, but please drop me a DM or drop me an email to let me know if you want me to have a look and analyze your chart as well as somebody else's. I have done them for spouses, and I've also done them for business partners as well. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Simple Human Design, and I will see you on the next episode very soon.